First question is, tell us about yourself and why you are running for the Board of Education.
I'm Jeff Wilhite, and I'm running for the board in District Number 1. I'm the father of 2 Jeffco graduates of Evergreen Schools who happen to share the same birthday, and they graduated from high school in 2014. Been a long involved history in education in the state, district, and school level involvement. Was the member of the Colorado State Educational Success Task Force, member of the Jeffco District Accountability Committee, was member of the Capital Asset Advisory Committee for 3.5 years. I also worked on the 2018 campaign committee to pass the 5A and 5B bond, big deal. Was co-founder and current coordinator of the Jeffco Charter School Consortium. As a board member of the Evergreen High School Foundation, I served as the president of the Evergreen Band Booster Club. Interesting. And my charter school involvement is I was a board chair and treasurer for both Mountain Phoenix Community School and Rocky Mountain Academy of Evergreen, totaling 9 years of board service. My business experiences for the last 25 years, I've owned a construction company that was a lending company, construction lending company. What I bring to the board and why I decided to run is simply, I have a real strong belief in stewardship, and that should be a major component of how you govern an organization.
Share your understanding of the issues surrounding the Jeffco Public Schools budget.
There are many issues, but let me address a few. Between 2016 and 2019, Jeffco's overhead costs have risen $48 million, even as student enrollment and achievement both declined. In relationship to enrollment challenges, we have a number of small schools, and last year the board decided to close one of those schools without following the district budget, which sent a ripple through the system and the community. Families need to trust the board to have a transparent process in evaluating how student-based budgeting and enrollment concerns factor into the board's decision-making process. Jeffco's annual budgeting process only looks at how to allocate incremental changes in revenue rather than whether the entire $1.4 billion budget is being spent effectively and efficiently. I think that's also one of Tracy Dorland's primary goals right now, is to do that. And I think that to better serve our students and our teachers and the taxpayers, we desperately need to improve and manage the management and governance of Jeffco's $1.4 billion budget. The end game is we need to be faithful stewards of taxpayers' dollars while continuing to remain competitive and attract and retain top talent. Thanks.
How will you balance the competing interests of employee compensation versus student and school needs?
And this is a lot more fun than Zoom, because with Zooms nobody plays this game. I guess first I disagree with the implied premise that there's a trade-off between them. If we can reform the budgeting process and make more effective and efficient use of the $1.4 billion in taxpayer funds, I don't see why we can't improve student achievement and pay employees more at the same time. I can guarantee you that if Jeffco substantially improves student achievement, it won't be hard to convince voters to pay more in taxes to reward Jeffco staff for their outstanding performance in that improvement.
Describe the impact of the pandemic on Jeffco Public Schools and what you might do to ensure student learning, safety, and health.
Erase the last couple of years. Right. Yeah, that's bad news. The pandemic has led us to significant learning losses and increases in students and staff mental health issues. I mean, I know this. I used to be, when I started, I was a therapist at a mental health center. So I think I have oftentimes a little bit better touch, on what effect it has, on the mental health issues have on kids. The good news is that Jeffco has received an unprecedented amount of federal and state aid to help the district meet those challenges. Good thing. In addition, our community supported the 5A mill levy bond, which assisted in funding social, emotional support professionals. Another good thing. We also have a strong relationship with the Jeffco Mental Health Agency. So the district's management team is responsible for developing and implementing plans to meet challenges made worse by the pandemic. As directors, our governance responsibility is to ask the right questions, not tell the answers. So we ask the right questions, not tell the right answers, to make sure that the plans are sound and the management is held responsible for successfully implementing them.
What are the major issues confronting our district regarding student achievement, and what will you do to improve them?
Our major issue, as acknowledged and owned by the superintendent, is that our results have been declining at a time when the knowledge and skills required to succeed in the 21st century economy have exponentially risen, as well as the need for places like Warren Tech. The 2019 CMAS score showed 65% of our sixth graders didn't meet state math standards, 62% of our 8th graders didn't meet science standards. While the CMAS and the SATs don't measure everything, our graduates will need to succeed. And nobody can argue that proficiency in simple things like reading and writing and math and science, they're critical. It's important that we're doing a good job with that. As to what I'll do, I'll say kind of what I said before. The role of the board is to set the goals and hold the management accountable, superintendent first, to achieving them. But that's not something that I've seen the recent Jeffco boards doing a very good job at in recent years.
Okay, as a member of the school board, why should you be chosen to lead Jeffco Public Schools, and what will you do to work collaboratively with all constituents for the purpose of improving the learning experience for all students?
I think I listed before all the things that I've done with the district, my experience with, the charter schools and governance. I think that being, a good steward is going to be the most important tenet that I hold dear to, and that I will govern from, and you can count on that. And I don't have any extra loyalties to any other group. My very first, loyalty is to kids and teachers, and that's our business, folks. To support teachers, to educate kids. So that's not quite the right answer, but that's what I feel. So thank you all very much. Thank you.